One action. Prologue. A young princess is sitting under a tree reading a large book. On the cover it says journal. She's deep into the book's narrative. She reads out loud. Young princess. Father has been gone for 11 years today. I miss him so. Stepmother Elmira is a wicked old witch. At least she wishes she had any sort of real magic to go with her power. The kingdom is suffering. Has been for years now. The greedy old wench has drained the villages of any riches it had. I miss my papa. He was a great king. Step Queen Elmira is a terrible queen, and her two daughters are, well, how would you say it? Gaudy? I say their mouths are so wide they could swallow the whole of Mount Esquimalt in one giant gulp, whilst still having enough room left for one smaller hills. Tomorrow evening, Step Queen Elmira is hosting another one of her lavishly ugly balls. The music is always grating on my ears. She really does have such awful taste. I never get invited, of course, but I can hear it through the chimney stack in my room. I don't know why I insist on calling it a room to you, diary. It's more of a glorified windowed attic. Oh, how I miss my papa. The young princess turns the page. Scene 1. Castro Dining Hall. Step Queen Elmira. Step Queen Elmira.
Me, right?
Yep.
Is seated in a rather large, ugly wooden throne with a sculptured vulture rising above her head. The two look alike.
Oh, you know what I just realized? I think that's me. You have
Yes.
normally, I'm sorry. I just saw Queen Elmira. All right, here we go. See, this is what, see, I messed up. All right, two abnormally ugly princesses are seated on either side of her. Princess Sydney is on her knees, cleaning up the food scraps as the ugly stepsisters messily drop them while exerting down their mouths, watering breakfast feast. Step Princess Emergaherd drops a whole apple. Princess Sydney reaches for it, licking her lips. Emergaherd steps on her hand. There we go. Emergaherd.
Don't even think about stealing our food, Rat.
Is she nibbling on her scraps again?
Of course it is.
Oh, that's so pathetic.
I know.
The ugly stepsisters laugh a nasally laugh. The ugly stepsisters laugh a nasally laugh. Ha 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 ha. Step Queen Elmira simply slurps on her soup in a ladylike manner. Step Queen.
Girls. Don't bother pitying the pathetic. It's a waste of energy if you ask me. And you don't want wrinkles at your ages.
Stepsisters.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Yes, Your Majesty.
The royals scoff down their breakfast while Princess Sydney continues to clean up after him. The young princess narrator continues to read out loud. As much as I'm under the warty thumb of the queen, her daughters have it worse. I feel sorry for them sometimes. They really don't know any better. It must be truly awful being brainwashed by such a nasty influence from the earliest of ages. Princess Sydney is wiping down the table next to Edwina, but isn't paying attention. Edwina deliberately knocks a glass over.
You stupid rat. You ruined my breakfast.
Edwina promptly stands up and throws a gold sauce bowl filled with thick brown gravy onto Princess Sydney. Emergaherd tries to stifle her laugh. Edwina sits down, thoroughly satisfied with her punishment. Then they go and cover me in gravy, and my care factor drops to 0. But still, this is Father's palace, and I'll put up with whatever they throw at me on me to protect it.
Oh, gee, Your Majesty, I'm so sorry. I'll get this cleaned up right away.
Yes, you will. And then you'll change out of those disgustingly dirty rags into some moderately dirty ones.
Princess Sydney curtsies.
Yes, Your Majesty.
If your father wasn't already 6 feet under, he'd develop epilepsy. Is that how you say it?
I think so. At the sight of you. Yeah. Epilepsy.
If your father wasn't already 6 feet under, he'd develop epilepsy at the sight of you. Be gone.
Princess Sydney curtsies again, and then stumbles to clean up the mess on the table.
I said, be gone.
Princess Sydney barely looks at the royals as she hastily leaves the dining room. When out of their eyesight, she stops and falls back into the stone wall, breathing out a heavy sigh, then exits off stage.
I have organized for your suitors to arrive promptly at 6 tomorrow evening. We shall have a light dinner before the ball begins, and by the end of the evening, a Murderherd will be ready to take my place as queen.
Do I have to marry Titus, Mother? Tiberius really is much more handsome.
You get to be queen, I get to be the hot one. That was the deal.
But I love my handsome Tibbykins.
Well, even if you don't want to be betrothed to the Duke's eldest son, Princess Murderherd, I'm afraid your hands are tied. I didn't waste all of that time with old King just for you to undo it all over such a small pretty thing as love.
I know, Mother. You're right. It's just.
I would advise you to drop it, Murderherd. If you of all people have seen what I am capable of.
Margaret goes to speak but cannot. She's seen her mother do some truly nasty things.
Mother's right, Ermi. Don't you want to be queen? I'm happy to take your place. And I'm happy for both of you to shut your mouths. Tomorrow evening you shall both be betrothed to the Duke's sons. He's expecting it, and they have a lot of gold to share.
Murgaheard and Edwina shift in their seats excitedly at the sound of gold.
I can't wait to meet them again. It's been so long.
You saw Tiberius last week.
I know, too long ago.
The step queen stands up.
Just make sure to stick to the script, ladies. Otherwise, we'll be the ones living in the cellar.
Step Queen Elmira leaves with an air of coldness.
Sydney better not rock up, or she'll be kick me after I'm through with her.
Oh, I know. Mother better lock the attic door this time. Remember when she tried to crash your 16th?
Little rat thought she was welcome over my dead body.
The stepsisters laugh at an annoyingly high-pitched laugh. You're supposed to laugh. Princess Sydney has re-entered the room, wearing clean rags. Princess Sydney.
That can be arranged, you know.
Did you say something, Rat?
I would never speak out of the line in the presence of such a luminous royalty.
Sydney sarcastically curtsies. Edwina sticks her tongue out at Sydney. Murgaheard.
Illuminous? Can you even spell such a word?
You better not try to come to our party, Rat. There's going to be magikas? Wait, how do you say
Magical
that?
clothes there?
Magikas there.
wouldn't want you offering them a cupcake.
The royals hysterically laugh at this. Princess Sydney tries to hold back her anger and guilt.
Don't let your mother hear you talk about that word.
It's Magicos.
Majikos? Don't let your mother hear you talk about Majikos. She'll get jealous.
Jealous? What do you know about jealousy? You're just a lousy cellar rat.
Actually, I think I make a rather adequate cellar rat, if you please.
Oops.
I'll be pleased when a murder herd is queen and you're on the streets. Why mother hasn't kicked you out on that bony behind, I'll never know.
It's in the king's will, Eddie, dear.
Edwina kicks a mugger herd under the table.
Shut your flaps, Ernie.
What will?
Don't listen to her, rat. She knows nothing about anything, ever.
Mugger herd kicks Edwina under the table.
I very rarely listen to either of you, actually.
I think somebody needs an attitude adjustment.
I know 2 princesses desperately in need of a face adjustment.
Try it.
Edwina stands nose to nose with Princess Sydney.
Are you sure you want
Shiner.
a shiner before your big engagement tomorrow?
Edwina sits down immediately. A mugger herd leans over the table to her sister.
She wouldn't dare. With those bony arms, the most she could give you is a tap.
Still, I don't want to ruin my pretty complexion for Tibbykins.
You really are the prettiest sister I've ever known.
You say pretty, I say potato.
Edwina goes to speak, but a mugger herd cuts her off.
Ignore her. While we're dancing with our deliciously handsome dukes, it'll be in the attic with her fellow rats, wishing she was as beautiful as us.
Oops.
I know. She's just so nasty.
What do you expect from a fairy killer?
Princess Sydney rolls her eyes, flicks a cleaning rag over her shoulders, and exits, addressing the audience as she leaves.
Want to swap? I have to collect the manure next. Should have done it before I touched their breakfast plates.
Princess Sydney exits. The stepsisters look around the room.
Who is she talking to?
I don't know. She's so weird.
All right, and cut.